Welcome to Tottenham On Tour. It's a Spurs Friday night with the two Brians featuring the Irish Hotspur and Jack Kennecke. And of course, Adam Clark is with us as well on this week's episode. Brentford review, Norwich preview, and Who Are Ya, our new episode. I want to welcome the lads. We want to start the show with something special, and I'm going to let Brian take over for now. Go ahead, Brian.
Cheers, Bryce. So obviously you can see the picture behind Brian. It is a picture of Bob's late mother and father, the father that he lost unfortunately this week. And that beautiful little boy there is a young Bob Spur in the making.
Look at that.
Everyone is obviously in the YouTube community knows the news that what Bobby's going through. Not only has he lost his father, but he's caught COVID as well. Obviously, with his heart problem, this can become an issue. So, Bob is going through a very hard time at the moment. But one thing that he's clinging on to and is so touched by is obviously people donating to the GoFundMe page that he set up. And we're going to have that constantly in the chat. And I think it's just there if you want to contribute. And also the messages that he's been receiving from everyone. It's obviously a hard time for him. People know how close I am with that man. He's more than family to me. And there's a lot of things I can be happy for doing this YouTube stream. And one of the greatest things to happen is Bob entering my life. He is everything you see on YouTube and a billion times more. Now, obviously, he's not coming on streams at the moment, but what he has me is a statement, so to speak, that he wants me to read to address everyone in the Tottenham Hotspur community. Sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional, so I will read this as clearly as I can. So this is from Bob Spur to the entire Spurs community. Firstly, I want to thank the whole Spurs family for their generosity, support, and overwhelming love during these hard times. It has meant so much that I wanted to address you through a person I consider my brother, Brian. In the last 12 months, as well as having to recover from open heart surgery and a relapse during recovery, I lost my brother, my mother, and now my father. I have asked why I always come across, I get asked why I always come across as a positive person and full of banter. I am proud to say this is a reflection of who my father was. He was not only my best friend, but someone I looked to for direction, inspiration, and motivation. Suffice to say, losing him has left a massive hole in my heart. Added to this, I have also tested positive COVID, but maybe grieving and isolating isn't such a bad combination. The one thing that has kept me going is the amazing support from all of you. Not a minute goes by without receiving a love-filled message from people I don't even know. It's truly a reflection of what an amazing and unique community we have. As much as the loss of my father is gut-wrenching, I take solace he's reunited with my mum and brother. I was the first person my dad ever brought into this world, and he was the first person to hold close at my first ever breaths. How fitting that I was there holding him close as he took his loss. Thank you again to all. Honestly humbled, Bobby. This man, I mean, I'm just to say a bit more that the class and incredible guy that this is, he is going through only what we can describe as torture right now. Yet people will know on all channels and all streams, he's been there in the chat. His support for every single person. I don't think there's a person who he hasn't helped on a YouTube in some capacity or a video he's created. His love and dedication to help people is you can't even rival it. It's an incredible thing that he does. He asks for nothing in return, and like I said, he is truly humbled by the Lord. I said the link GoFundMe is on the banner at the bottom. It will also be displayed on the in the live chat. And just personally, Bobby, like I said, I love you to pieces, brother, and we're all here for you.
Cheers. Yeah. Man, that's heavy stuff. Bobby's a wonderful human, special guy, fantastic. Just there's no words really that you can. It's just incredible. I want to go around the horn a little bit here. First, I wanted to say hello to everybody. Jack, welcome to the channel. We're having the Irish Hotspur on here and having Jack from FlatcapEurotalk, and of course, somebody who we've worked with pretty closely for periods of time. Thank you for coming on the channel. And how are you, mate? You okay? How's things?
Things are good, but yeah, my condolences to you, Bob. I mean, I couldn't imagine losing as many as you have at your age, or just even in general. Like, I don't know. I don't think anybody can. I can try to sympathize. I certainly can't empathize because I just don't know what that would be like. And I think everybody, please send your thoughts and your prayers. I know I will be praying for Bob because genuinely that's just horrible. I will now also go to that GoFundMe as well. Like I think a lot of you should, no matter what you have available to you, please just help the guy out. I couldn't imagine dealing with that much loss, in such a short span of time. We all know this is a horrible thing to even think about, but dealing with losses of life as well is also quite expensive, and it takes a lot out of you, and we all can't afford it, especially when you're kind of the one that's left to deal with it as well. So Bob, I just want to say my thoughts, my prayers, my condolences to you, and everybody should do the same, and everybody should help out Bob however way they can, however which way they can, because no matter what you have available to you, you should help him out, because seriously, having that much loss in your life at the age that he already is just I don't know what it's like. I can be honest, I really don't. So Bob, pick up to you, my brother. But yeah, doing okay.
Yeah, cheers, Jack. I mean, it's a hard one to start the show with, and we knew that this was going to be heavy, but it's important, and he's part of the massive part of this community, and we love him to death. So, David, great to have you on the show again. Well, I say again, you've been on our other channels before, and consider you a friend and a family member, a Spurs family member as well. So, thanks for being here. And how are you? And anything to add?
No, look, first of all, I really appreciate you having me, guys. Second of all, look, Bob, he's helped me out with intros and everything else. He's been a big supporter of the Irish Hotspur, and he's shown us nothing but support on what we're doing. So look, my thoughts and prayers go out to Bob, his family, and I mean, look, it's a horrible time of the year, losing so much so young as well. I mean, I can only imagine how hard it is to deal with, especially now that he's got COVID and the heart problems we all know he has. I mean, it's absolutely it's terrifying. And look, I just encourage everyone to get over to the GoFundMe. I'll be there going straight over after this show and putting in a donation. And I encourage everybody else to go and do the same, because I mean, look, COVID, it's hard. People's been out of work. Everyone's lost money. You know what I mean? So every little really does help. And to help give Bob help give his father the send-off that he so really wants to give him and that he deserves. So look, Bob, make sure you look after yourself, and come back when you're ready, my man.
Well said, David. Yeah, and we're all here for you, Bobby. So anytime you need to reach out to any of us, it's the door is open. Adam Clark, always a pleasure to have you on. Obviously, a new member of Tottenham On Tour. Good to see you. How are you? And anything else to add?
Yeah, I'm just very touched by Hotspur's statement and Brian's words. Like, I mean, like that statement alone proves just how strong of a person he is. Like, he absolutely has my condolences along with everyone else's. Like, I mean, to go through that amount of just hell basically in just like the space of 12 months, like, and still to come on streams and be all positive and have the banter, and to just be like, just come across as a genuinely good person. Like, I mean, just like one word sums him up, and that's like inspirational. So yeah, and I mean, other than that, of course, I am always, as always, so grateful to be on the stream with the four of you. Like, I mean, not everyone can brag that they are on a live stream with four of their favorite YouTubers. So big up to all of you, and also back to Bob's for get well soon, and just take your time, like especially with the heart problems.
Yeah, well said, Adam. Just to add myself, Bobby, I love you, mate. You're a friend immediately. As soon as I spoke to you, I knew that you're going to be a friend, and whatever we can do to help. And yeah, just if you can go to the GoFundMe, give what you can, help them out. Difficult situation. We're here for you. Spurs communities is got your back, brother. So yeah. We'll finish there on that, but we're going to keep running that GoFundMe in the background, and we'll put it in the comments as we go throughout the evening. And you click on the link and do what you can. It'll be great. So this is a Spurs podcast, so we're going to talk Tottenham, and now we're going to get into what is a bit of a happier thing, and I think most of us would agree. The result versus Brentford was, I mean, like I just like that was all I could see. As I was watching it, all I could do was go, "Oh, Spurs!" Like it was, you know, the Spursy has that negative connotation. It was the positive Spursy. It was like, this is the Spurs I know and love. The pressing was back, the energy was back, the understanding of we're playing with each other, for each other was there. Some standout performances, obviously. Let's go around the horn quickly. I'll start with you, David. Thoughts on just an overall thought on the game and what you thought of the performance, and how I could see by your grin that you're pretty happy with it. So thoughts?
No, look, look, one thing you were saying there about energy. Us fans, our energy never died, and it's good to see the Tottenham players put it out there on the pitch, you know, representing our energy out there. No, look, it's good to see us back and being able to pass and move again. I mean, so, look, some people out there thought we didn't have the players to be able to do that. I think that demonstrated we did. I think Conte's fitness coaches maybe are coming into play. We lasted a full 90 minutes, which is a plus. The goalkeeper coach Conte has brought in has come in and really helped Hugo Lloris. I mean, he dominated his area, especially from corners.
I've never seen him do that before.
Never seen him come out and deal with so many. I mean, punching them clear and everything else. I mean, Dyer, Davies, and Sanchez, did we ever think they'd ever keep a clean sheet? So that's a positive. I think you look at Højbjerg and Skip in midfield, I think they proved a lot of their doubt was wrong. I think Harry Kane, you know, he's coming back to form. All he's missing is a goal. Good to see Sonny get on the score sheet as well. And Lucas caused problems. What I will say quickly is that you're seeing Conte's effect starting to come into plan. His plan come into effect, sorry. You're starting to see him us stamp our style onto the game and onto the opposition. I mean, our wing-backs just pinned theirs back in the whole game. When they did try and counter through the middle, Højbjerg and Skip were positioned perfectly to be able to stop it. So we left them stuck with playing long ball to Ivan Toney. We made him look like prime Emil Heskey. So that's an absolute bonus. And look, we create chances. It was just good to see a Tottenham team out there with energy, passion, desire, and just put some pride into what they were doing. You know, see some of the players playing with smiles on their face. I mean, it's a big contrast from what we've seen against NS Mora. And look, you know, now is the building block to be able to build on from here. And let's see where the season takes us on the Conte train, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you basically covered my entire run of show there in one paragraph. I appreciate that, David. We will get into the specifics of it, but it's basically everything that I had written down. I'm like, hit that. Oh, just hit that one. Nice one. Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic efficiency. When did the efficiency start? I mean, you know, I just watched you and Jackie Boy stream earlier, and it was like I wasn't sure if you guys were going to make it here or not. So.
No, we don't know efficiency. That's foreign to us.
Hilarious. Adam Clark, thoughts on you watching the game and seeing Spurs play the way they played? The first half was good. The second half was like they stepped it up another level. What did you think of just an overall, from a performance perspective, you know, a different level than we've seen from Spurs in a long time?
Yeah, no, admittedly I didn't watch the whole game. Like, 'cause I was at something. I had to be at something last night, but I did see the highlights, and like what I saw in those 2 minutes, and a bit was much better than what I've seen for the past few weeks. Like, even when we've managed to get victories, that's definitely the most like Spurs we played in a bit. Like I was happy to see that, and we finally got a clean sheet. Like, I mean, either I have the memory of a goldfish, or I don't, because I don't remember the last time we actually got a clean sheet. I don't even remember the last time we actually properly earned a clean sheet. Well,
the Everton game was a clean sheet, but it was
there we go.
Not a nice clean sheet. I think
not a nice one. Yeah,
that goes to your point.
One,
it goes to your point.
Yeah,
it wasn't
exactly.
Brilliant. Yeah, for sure.
But no, I think it's fair to say that the Conte train is steamed through the beehive huts. In fairness, if you know what I mean. So. Or I mean, I know, it is at the end of the day only Brentford, they're to do under their newly promoted season bounce, but at the same time, I'm we'll take a win. We're only 1 point off top four now, so that's a major positive.
Yeah, and I think that it's just Brentford thing is a flawed argument, because what have Brentford done against some of the biggest sides in the league? And I think that, you can say that, but you can go, well, this team they've beaten Arsenal. They put Chelsea to the sword, made them really uncomfortable despite losing.
Mm-hmm.
They've done some really good things against big teams, and we made them basically anonymous. So that was fantastic. Jack, thoughts on the game, thoughts on the performance, and we'll get into the specifics and the details. But I would love to get your overall thoughts on it.
Just want to say quickly, the reason I was looking down is because I did already donate to, Bob's GoFundMe. So everybody, it is that easy. You can be live on, camera and still be able to do it that easily. So I would say everybody just feel free to hit that link like they already put in the comments. Genuinely, like it was like you just said, Brian Ireland, like it was so easy. It was so anonymous from Brentford. And that is harder said than, or it's easier said than done, simply because they're a team kind of like Leeds that work really hard. They cover a lot of distance. They kind of work for each other. They're very much a team, a full 11. And we kind of just showed them out, just showed our class, as well as when you kind of think about it. I believe Brentford's even away form has been better than their home form as well this season.
I think they'd only lost one away from home.
Yeah. And this was probably the most convincing, if I'm not mistaken, like kind of like a away defeat that they've received as well. It just shows a lot, from just the players' effort, from, the tactics, from just a lot of things, just individual performances as well. You wouldn't really say there was like an individual poor performance from anybody, this match as well. I just feel like the team is starting to gel. We're starting to see a lot from this team. And like I said, Leeds and Brentford, as much as we might want to say like, yeah, these are teams that we should get 3 points from, there are probably some harder teams kind of in the bottom of the table that are, difficult to get 3 points from. And we've seen that with, like you said, the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Chelsea and whatnot struggle against teams like this. And we didn't struggle at all.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. And I think that's key. Impressive performance. Bri, just a joy, right? To watch Spurs play proper Spursy football, attacking, pressing, all the things that we want to see from a Spurs side.
It was so refreshing to see a positive performance. Like David said, we look comfortable, we look assured. It was a great performance by the team. I think they've been playing a lot as individuals recently, and the fact that they played as a team, you could clearly see. And I couldn't agree more with the fact that Conte's already stamping his approval on it. You could see the difference in the patterns of play, the fitness. I just think it was a great performance. When I think about the most stressful part of the game yesterday, was me, David, and Irish David and Marcelo trying to sync up the time. Because we kept going ahead of each other.
So you didn't like the goal happened, and you're like, oh god, it's so annoying when that happened. Yeah,
at one point, it did. The second goal did. I started doing the Brazilian goal, and then a huge goal. But yeah, that was the most strenuous thing for us, syncing up the time. It was a very fluid performance, especially after the Mura game. We didn't know what we were going to get, and that was not what I expected. And I was very impressed.
Yeah, it was amazing. I want to talk about specific players, but I'm going to, not in too much detail, all of the players, but there's one player that stood out for me, and I think man of the match, and I think many people would agree, and I think he actually was given man of the match, is Oliver Skipp. Oliver Skipp was immense in this game. He played out of his skin. I mean, he wasn't perfect. He gave the ball away a couple times, and he made some pretty dodgy tackles where like it wasn't great, but he worked his socks off, and we started to see from him a passing ability that we haven't seen yet. Some of those balls, that ball for, I think it was Harry Kane, where Kane probably would normally score. It was that right between the lines. Those are the passes that a defensive midfielder who's going to potentially run a game need to make on a regular basis. I'll stay with you, Brian, then we'll go back around. Oliver Skipp, what are your thoughts on him in this performance of this, and how far, what's his ceiling? Like, I think this guy's going to go really, really far.
You know what? Love him or hate him with Mourinho, and whether you agree with this or whatever, the one thing you cannot fault him for is he called Skipp as a future captain. It's clear to see this guy is so special. And you know what? He does the little things so well, and you don't pick up on it. But yesterday, his performance was stellar. Nothing can put it in a better perspective. When you see the games that he was out, i.e. Chelsea and Arsenal, you notice he's not there. That's how much of an impact that the age is having. He was incredible. I mean, I actually gave the man of the match to someone else because I thought he deserved a lot of credit, which was Davies.
Davies is the unsung hero for me, for sure. I completely agree. Davies was great. Go on. Sorry, Brian.
Under Conte, he's been a completely different player to what we've seen in the past, but Oliver Skipp, no doubts about it. He's going to be on that plane to Qatar. He's a future England stalwart and holder of that midfield spot. And like Jose said, future captain. I thought he was superb last night.
Fantastic. Jack, thoughts on his performance? Skippy looking like a fucking proper midfielder.
I mean, he's looked fantastic all season. I mean, genuinely, like the fact that he's actually played alongside Højbjerg is, I think, already a huge surprise. Like, take ourselves back 6 or 7 months ago, we kind of all thought that Skippy would be kind of coming in for Højbjerg, kind of replacing Højbjerg, kind of, coming in for when Højbjerg needed a rest. And he's actually outplaced the likes of Gio Lo Celso, Harry Winks, the likes of Tanguy and Ndombele, Dele Alli and whatnot. He's replaced these guys. That's how good he's actually been. And also as well, I think I noticed a bit of a tactical change where, I don't know about you guys, it seemed like normally we saw Højbjerg on the right side of the pitch, kind of going forward on the right side, but it actually seemed more like Højbjerg was on the left side and then Skippy was actually on the right side, and they were kind of, switching between each other, and it wasn't,
I noticed that, Jack. Yeah.
It wasn't so steadfast where they were like marking space in each of their own zones. They were actually covering for each other. And then, like you said, though, earlier, Brian Ireland, that threaded through ball for Harry Kane, was just absolutely scrumptious. Oof. And to be honest, what I love about Skippy is not only does the guy get stuck in for a living, not only does the guy, actually get that kind of sick smile from even getting stuck in as well, and that bit of shithousery that he provides, he also actually is a bit braver on the ball than some of our midfielders. He actually wants to spray the passes. He wants to be able to kind of switch the play, even when it maybe isn't in his, assets, or like it isn't maybe his best attribute is kind of spraying the balls and kind of dictating the play. He's still willing to try it, and he's still willing to do it, which is actually what I really like about him. It's just, he's very brave. He's very courageous. He's not willing to make, he's not afraid to make a mistake. And to be honest, like, he's just an unsung hero the entire season so far. He's been very, very, very consistent for us. Was he my man of the match? I'd probably say Reguilón was, but that's just still like kind of ridiculous to even say, because Skippy had that brilliant of a match.
Yeah, I think Reguilón's in that conversation. I think Davies is in that conversation, as Brian said.
Davies, I liked that unsung hero. David and I even spoke to each other on the phone today. We were kind of like, another match for Ben Davies, really didn't put much of a foot wrong. In fact, probably the best defender out there.
Big Ben getting involved in the box as well. Not necessarily scoring the goal, but possibly creating it based on just being in the way, right, and doing things that we haven't seen him do in years. Like the season in 2016-2017 under Poch, when he actually created more chances as a left back than Danny Rose did in the same season. He was immense in that, and nobody gave him a ton of credit for it, because it's Ben, right? Ben is just like, he's the book reading guy who's on the, he doesn't get a ton of credit, but he was great that season and created a ton. We're starting to see that come back again. There's a great article from in the Athletic about Ben Davies that I recommend everybody reading. And you know what, I'm gonna actually pop the link in the comments, because it's really, really cool, and it gives everybody sort of a sense of his thoughts on the team and what has happened since since the Champions League final, and what is, it's the difference between the team then and the team now, and what they've all gone through. So Adam, quickly on Skip, what are your thoughts from his performance?
Oh, this man just continues to go from strength to strength. Like, I mean, for such a young player, it's actually just so good to see how much of a baller he is like even, like that. Like, I mean, if we're on about like that immense pass he did to Harry Kane, like, did you guys see the run he made before that? Like, oh my God, he took that midfield by absolute storm. Like, I mean, like, we're talking about Conte train. He was faster than a bloody train, like, but bursting through that midfield, like. And you know what? Like, when he did that, I was watching the highlights, and I nearly threw my arms up and said, "Finally, thank you, someone has had the courage to do that." Like the season we've done so many times, especially in the early part of the season, like, we were just passing the ball around, like, to the between Skip and Højbjerg, and then we'll go back to the defense, then we'll go to the midfield, and we think, oh great, we're going to go on the break. Nope, back to the defense again. And we'd be like, hello, we're Tottenham. We're not Man United under Louis van Gaal. So to see a player saying, right, I don't give a toss now. I'm going to go through this midfield, and I'm going to create a chance. It's refreshing to see. Like,
yeah, 100%. He he's just looking like everything we've been missing in our midfield for some time since Dembele left. Arguably, I'm not comparing him to Dembele. I know they're very different players in the style, but what he offers is similar in that he is willing to transition. He's willing to tackle. He's willing to get stuck in and make it difficult. We had two midfielders to their three, and our two midfielders ran that midfield, which is impressive. David, your turn. Skippy, what are your thoughts on his performance, and where do you see his ceiling at?
Yeah, the human wrecking ball. Where do we start? I mean, look, the guy, he's been turning over ball in midfield all season long. I mean, some Spurs fans were starting to doubt him, saying it's not enough. And then he just pops up yesterday with this passing display, which I already knew he had in his locker, because if anyone watched him at Norwich last season, they'd realize he actually can pass a ball.
Passing is very good. Sorry, David.
No. He just has to be allowed to do it, And look, with Højbjerg in beside him, it gives him the confidence to do it, and he knows he can go and do it because he has someone else there that'll cover for him. I mean, that pass through to Harry Kane. I mean, if Harry Winks done that, we'd be talking about it for the next 20 years. Let's be honest. I mean, that was.
I think we'd all have a heart attack, David. We'd be like, "What the hell? Where did that come from Harry Winks?"
No, we would. We'll still be talking about it this time next year. And it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like Jack said, this guy has come in and replaced a £64 million player, £45 million player, and a guy that's had 4, 5, 6 years here now, and he's just walked straight into the team. I mean, Brian already alluded to it about Jose Mourinho, but not only that, Pochettino used to bring him on towards the end of games to give him the experience, because he also said that he'll have a long future at Tottenham. Conte's also praised him. Nuno's also praised him. So I'm not really surprised, to be honest with you. I mean, look, this is a kid that gets it. He sees the weaknesses in his game. He probably seen maybe his passing needs to be better, so he's gone and worked on it. And he comes out against Brentford looking like Pirlo. I mean, what more do we want? Absolutely brilliant. But it's not only that. It's the way he turns ball over in midfield. I mean, as soon as he came into this Tottenham team, you could see the pressure he was putting on players compared to what we were seeing over the last 2 years. He's proactive about everything he does. He's not one of these reactive players. I mean, proactive. He doesn't let players drift across him to receive a pass. He runs with them. He gets up the hole and dispossesses the ball. But now he's proven to us that even though he can dislodge the ball, now he can also get us up the field with the ball. Absolutely brilliant all-round midfielder. I mean, he has received a bit of criticism lately, but that has to stop. I mean, this is a Tottenham kid. I mean, if I was looking for someone to go into the trenches with me, like if I was Harry Winks and I was in the Normandy trenches like Harry Winks so many times is, I mean, I'd be looking to have an Ollie Skip beside me, that's for sure. I mean, that's a guy that you can trust, a guy that will run his absolute bollocks off to get the 3 points, a guy that 3 points means something to. And it's so refreshing to have someone like him in the midfield with heart, passion, desire, and the willingness to go and win the ball. Absolutely love Ollie Skip. I mean, he's everything that if you're a midfielder in the academy, he epitomizes everything you want to be when you come into this Tottenham team.
100%. It literally is what we thought or potentially thought, not to the exact extent, but we all had this hope for Harry Winks, and when he came through, and there was an expectation he was going to go up to that level because of how he was talked about. Skip is just levels. It's just levels above completely. It's hilarious. It's not even fucking close. It makes me laugh a little bit that I loved Winks initially, and then he fell off. Obviously, Skip is just. I think Skip is everything to be Spurs. He's Spurs. Like, this is like, it's grit, it's determination, it's quality as well, and just like everything was leave everything on the pitch. I fucking love it. It's fantastic. And speaking about leaving everything on the pitch, I think it's a super important thing that I'm hoping everybody else knows, because if you didn't, you weren't paying attention. The press in this game, the press was fucking on for the team press. It wasn't just one guy running at a guy and then the players are all standing around. Everybody was in on it. We haven't seen that since peak Pochettino years. Like Pochettino, through the end of the last bit of his reign, that fell off, and I think it fell off because people were unconvinced, or they got lazy, or whatever else. Who knows what the specifics of it were? But we lost that. It's been since 2016, 2017 since we've seen that type of grit and determination and press. The press for me, David, I'll still stick with you, and then we'll go back around the horn. How important is that to see, and how much is that going to affect the rest of our season? And just to add to it quickly before you answer my question, they did it for 90 minutes. That's what surprised me.
Good question.
Yeah, and look, just doing it for the 90 minutes, that's contest fitness coaches coming to fruition right now. But in terms of the press, I mean, defending from the front, I mean, what it really does is it really helps out Højbjerg and Skip in midfield because they have a lot less pressure on them. And then it's a knock-on effect right back through to the back line because they're not under as much pressure. It means you're not letting teams settle, pass it across the back line, pass it in midfield, through the midfield up to the forward line. We're not allowing them to settle on the ball and play football by defending from the front, by doing that pressing. And that's what pressing is. It's ultimately defending from the top front. But look, we've seen over the last couple of years, either not pressing at all, or one player would go and you're like, okay, where's the next one? Where's the next one? And, you know, one player would press and then they'd just be passed around and off they go. But when the team presses, what it does is it doesn't allow them to be able to play through the line, settle on the ball, get to grips with the game, build into the game, build the confidence, because you're not giving them any time to do that. Absolutely brilliant to see. I mean, this is what we need to be doing. Most modern teams in football now are doing it. I'm delighted that Conte is bringing this to the team. And even Harry Kane pressed, which I was actually very, very surprised about. I'll be honest, I thought his pressing days were over. But I even seen him busting a gut a couple of times to close down players. And it was very, very refreshing to see. And what it ultimately does as well is it just turns over the ball quicker. It means then you can have the ball, you can dominate the ball, you can build your confidence up, you have time to scan the pitch then for the right passes, and ultimately it means you don't have to rush everything. You can take your time with things, and I mean it's absolutely just brilliant to see. I mean anyone that's not really getting any Poch vibes, I mean you really do need to. I mean me and Brian were doing the watch along yesterday. We both had hard-ons. And we were about to do the double Dutch rudder. It was absolutely great to
see. Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like you're seeing everybody buying into a system, right? And I think that's what we had seen previously under Poch. That's what we're seeing now, and it's really nice to watch. Adam, your thoughts on the press, because the difference it makes when it comes to what you like winning the ball back. This is the thing. Like the point of a press is to win the ball back. Win the ball back as high up at the pitch as you can, so you can get yourself in a position to make the other team uncomfortable based on what where you are in getting into the final third as fast as you can, putting them under pressure so that they don't have as many players around. What was your thoughts on it? Because it was literally like I was just buzzed by watching it. I was like, holy shit, what is going on? It was amazing.
I mean, like, yeah, what about Poch vibes? I definitely got Poch vibes from that. Like, I mean, it was like just the nostalgia was like ringing from just seeing in that pressing game. Like, you know, like I mean, like they were all and like the front three seemed up for it. And they were like no nonsense approach to it. Like they were like we were going to press whether we get the ball back or not. Like I remember like I was watching and there was one clip during the highlights and Mora, where he was pressing the defenders so hard, like he ended up getting the ball back. Then he passed back to Skip, and then a great chance was created. Then, like that's what we love to see. You know, like that's how we're going to get more goals. That's how we're going to ultimately start eating for top four again. Like that's one of the key steps. Like, and I'm so glad that Conte is starting to bring that back into the frame now. But like I was expecting him to and I'm glad to finally see it.
Yeah, the press is obviously the thing that makes teams.
It's a work of art. Like
it's the team. It makes the thing the best teams in the league. If you look at Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City, what do they do well? They press really well. They win the ball back. If they lose the ball, they win it back, and then they own the game because they don't let the other team have any time on the ball and create anything. Jack, watching this game with the press, like your thoughts on it? What do you think?
Yeah, just quickly, those are great examples though, because the reason why Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea are so successful is because when you press a team so high, when you press with 11 men, you know, you kind of actually take a team out of the game. Like they have to actually be fully on it, because when they're without the ball, when they're struggling to basically complete the passes that normally most teams might take for granted, you know, a pass into their center defensive mid, a pass into their playmakers that most teams might just give them, you know, with no real pressure whatsoever. We were kind of doing that and making every pass for them very, very difficult, which just takes a team out of the game, just takes them out of their flow. It takes them out of their comfort levels. And that's what I feel like I was seeing, as well as I just think it came from the front three. It started with the front three. Sonny was pressing incredibly hard. Lucas was pressing incredibly hard. And also Harry Kane, who in fact, I believe of our front three, and this might be a bit kind of, you know, biased because of just, the striker does usually have the most presses, but he so far has the most pressers in the attacking third so far this season. So like you kind of were seeing also Harry Kane pressing a lot harder than we've ever seen before as well. And I think it's just fantastic to watch. It is kind of a bit of Poch nostalgia vibes. It is kind of a bit of kind of going back to the days when we used to say, like, even if we do lose a game, we at least know that we tried. We at least know that we put our biggest effort into the match. We at least made it difficult for the other team. And to be honest, like, what did Brentford really create? Like, what did Brentford really actually do? And that maybe had to do exactly with what we were actually doing in terms of the pressing from our entire 11, from our entire squad. And I don't know, it brings Poch vibes. It also is just fantastic to see because it reminds us that we can be that sort of side. We don't need to think that we need a whole new set of players in order to instill basic kind of values, basic kind of like efforts into the team. You don't need to be a world-class footballer to press your mind out of the other team. You don't need to be a world-class footballer to be able to just press the entire match. All you need is your fitness levels. And Conte is already bringing that into the side, and it's wonderful to see because Brentford are a team that, in fact, press other teams. Brentford are a team that actually make it difficult for other squads, and we made it difficult for them. And it's just brilliant to watch, especially in front of the home crowd.
Spot on, Jack. Spot on. It was so we basically gave them fuck all like opportunity to do.
I genuinely think that one
in any
Emblemo shot from outside the box was maybe their best chance. When
I think Tony
like,
had one in the box where it was a bit soft
right.
and hit it really hard.
Right.
But it still wasn't a great chance. We just limited them to everything because the whole team was doing the same thing at the same time. That's teamwork. That's the point. Bri, the press for you. Watching it, seeing that sort of level of energy and that sort of intensity, how did you feel watching it?
Well, this is what Conte does. And if you go back to the Leeds game, and he said, I didn't want them to do it for 90 minutes because I didn't think they had the fitness to do it. So the second half, they pressed. My God, in 2 weeks, if that's how fit he can get them within 2 weeks, it's incredible. But the main thing with the press is trust. You've got to keep following up. You've got to keep following up. If one goes, everyone has to go.
That's it.
And
that's 100% right.
Yeah. He seems to have instilled it because literally at the end of Poch, it seemed to drop off. Like the players like, eh. But yesterday, my word, when we did have to press, they did it as a unit, and it was fantastic to see. And if that's how they're pressing within a 2-week gap of Leeds, think about it when he's had a few months and he's got them as peak fitness as he wants them. It's like Alistair Gold always says, it's his favourite Tottenham when he sees us pressing and being aggressive, and it's mine as well. It was so good to see, rather than just falling back.
It was
and just
fucking Tottenham. It was Tottenham. Yeah. It was like, that's my
really
club.
Was.
It's my team.
It really was. I can't remember a last time where we did it as well as that since Poch. I just can't.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. To the next point, we just talked about Harry Kane. I think Harry Kane's improving for sure, despite not scoring goals. The pass to Reguilon for the goal, for Sonny's goal, was brilliant. And then obviously to add to sort of the press is Conte's stamp on this team. I actually thought it was going to take longer. I thought, oh, it's going to, maybe by Christmas we'll know. And of course, that's only a few weeks away, but still, that's a lot of games, right? There's, it's a busy period. I thought, by January we'll know where this team is at, and we'll see kind of the attitude start to change. This was completely different. Like this team looked and felt completely different than what we'd seen in a long time. And Brian, you and I talked about this, I think, on our Monday podcast about whether or not that we're going to whether we're going to see this and when we're going to see it, and how it's going to sort of come to fruition. It's faster than I expected it to, and it's better than I expected it to be in this game. Okay, I mean, I know it's one game, and of course that's measurement small, but Brian, Conte's stamp. It was very clear the difference between even from the Leeds game. This was a level above that from what we had seen. What are your thoughts on Conte's influence and the reaction from at least the first team? Anyway, we know that the second team didn't have that reaction, sadly.
So for me, it is fitness. Because if you look at that team, a lot of them were still there under Poch, so they know how to do it. They know how to press. They know what to do. They've had years and years of doing it. So if there's one positive of having these players that have been here for so long, is they know how to do this. They just chose not to near the end. So I think his biggest stamp is I can't believe how much fitter we look, not just from the Leeds game, but even Nuno. And Nuno was meant to be working on the fitness, and we look better than Jose. But the transition in the fitness levels compared to the Leeds game was outstanding. Was absolutely outstanding. And like I said, I think the main key was these players knew how to do it. They just had to be pushed to do it. And I don't think they're going to say no to Conte.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I mean, the influence he's having is obvious. Jack, Conte's stamp on the game, like you could tell the difference. It was clear between what we have seen from Spurs in ages. And in this game, it was like, oh yeah, they're capable. This team that we're, for the most part, slagging on a regular basis for good reason, because they've been so poor. Aren't necessarily that poor if they're well coached.
No, and we can kind of see that even with, regardless of tactics, which is what I love to kind of obsess myself with, but regardless of tactics, like fitness, we're starting to realize like goes a very, very long way. In fact, it probably is the difference between most matches of winning and losing. It's the difference between grabbing a point and not grabbing a point, because how many teams can you really mention in history that didn't rely on fitness, to be an excellent team? Almost every single team in the Premier League that has won a Premier League title had exceptional fitness, had exceptional organization. And, Conte brings that, not only just tactics that he also brings, like I said, regardless, he brings that organization. He brings that sort of pressing. He brings that sort of fitness that is basically a Premier League kind of title winning sort of mentality. Of course, we're not going to be that high up, in the table at the end of the day, but it is sort of that mentality that he is instilling. And onto the Harry Kane thing as well, like genuinely, like, we are seeing kind of the old Harry Kane. I think Harry Kane is missing in the finishing department. Some of the chances that he's already had under Conte's tenure, he definitely would have buried maybe last season. At the same time, though, like, he probably could have popped up with 3 assists when you think about it last night. You think about that moment where he slid through in Reguilon for the second goal. That's basically Harry Kane's assist when you really think about it, because, he had to be able to chest that ball. He had to bring it down. He had to turn and be able to play Reguilon through with his left foot in the beautiful way that he did. When you think about another moment when Lucas, had that great shot on goal against Fernandez, but probably could have done a bit better about it. Maybe that goes in or whatnot. That could have been a second assist. Another moment as well, Tanganga, I think when Tanganga came in, actually had a brilliant chance, but he just had the most shocking touch I've ever seen on the right wing back position. And he probably could have had a shot on goal. So, and again, that's just 2 or 3 moments where you think about Harry Kane probably could have had 2 or 3 assists that night. We're seeing the hold up play come back. We're seeing the link up play come back that we saw under Mourinho. And now we're seeing it under Conte, except the difference is that there are more players coming forward. There are more players that are able to help out Harry Kane and Sonny. Under Mourinho, is pretty much just Sonny and Harry Kane, working between each other and basically, picking their moment to, kind of snatch and grab. Whereas with Conte, it's not as much snatch and grab. It really is like Harry Kane chesting it down, turning, and then finding 3 or 4 options in front of him. And it's beautiful to watch. It really is what we saw from last season, except it's not just the same old story of
it's
him
the whole
playing
team,
Sonny
right,
in time. It's the whole team, like
it's
you're about to say.
And
I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful to watch. And also we're seeing more pressing from Harry Kane than we ever did under Jose as well. So I think it's just beautiful. We're going to see a whole new type of Harry Kane again. We're going to see the old Harry Kane back. We want to see the scoring, of course. But if you're talking about creativity, if you're talking about link up play and hold up play, it was just on display the other night.
Yeah, his pass to Reguilon was fantastic, and he has that in him. There was another pass he made that went wide to Royale, I believe, that was just absurd. I think it was just like, it was the most perfect pass I've ever seen. It didn't turn into anything, but it was fun to watch. I have to go to the facilities. Bry is going to run the show while I do that, and then he might be leaving us because I think he's like dying. But I'll be back in a sec. Bry, continue around the horn with the Conte stamp. Yeah.
Well, I'm actually going to have my very quick say on Harry Kane.
Okay, go. I'll be back.
About him whilst you come back. Yeah. So, guys, I'm going to go when Ireland comes back. I've had about 10 hours sleep this week, and my eyes are starting to. I'm like literally
Spurs insomnia.
I want to have my say on Harry Kane, because Harry Kane is a subject that David and I discuss regularly, and I would say I have been one of the most critical on YouTube about him. And yesterday was a good performance. Was better than good. You can see under Conte a significant improvement under him. In the Everton game, he was abysmal. The Leeds game, there was a big difference. And yesterday, again, there was a bigger difference. I mean, the biggest problem I think Kane has at the moment is Kane is known for shooting early, before the keeper's set, before anyone gets to him. And he does that incredibly, incredibly well. But I think all this pressure on him, the media on his back, the abuse he's getting from fans, or the debates, I think he's just taking one too many touches. And literally where he will have shot and scored, I mean, that attempt yesterday, 9 times out of 10, the players are walking back because they know it's a goal. They just know it's a goal. And he's just taken a couple of extra touches. He needs that one goal to go off his arse or off the post and hit him on the head. And then I believe an avalanche of goals are coming. And what you can't deny, that through ball yesterday was a thing of beauty. An absolute thing of beauty. And his passing has been suspect recently. Not always, but it's not. He's got such a great range of passing. And it's just been letting him down. But what I will say is under Conte, there is definite sign of improvements. That's my opinion anyway. Jack, over to you, sir.
I don't know. I think we got to hand it over to Dave, to give me, a bit of the beauty of what Harry Kane, had to say. Dave, I mean, Harry Kane, scrumptious through balls. I thought he could have had 3 or 4 assists. Of course, I think we can all admit he needs to improve in the finishing department, David. But, we still got to admit, regardless of what our agendas are with Harry Kane, that the hold-up play, the link-up play was there.
Look, first of all, it's Sir Edward Harold Kane. Get it right, or Harold Edward Kane. Let's put some respect on the guy's name. And all I'm going to say on it is short and sweet. What is the saying? Form is temporary, class is permanent. I mean, it's going to speak for itself.
Classic.
I mean, he had good stats at the start of last season, tailed off. He was behind Sonny and that, still finished top goal scorer. He's going to do it again this season. It's inevitable. Once Conte's fitness regime comes in and Harry Kane gets because he's behind the rest of the squad in terms of pre-season and stuff like that. So he's a couple of weeks behind everybody else. I think once he gets up to proper full fitness, I think you're going to see him absolutely banging the goals. I mean, look, this is a guy that has served Tottenham with just pure class for the last 5 years. I get people are hurt, but stop making Harry Kane the problem. Yes, Son scored yesterday, but his stats compared to last year, more than 50% way off it. Lucas, the same thing, and Harry Kane, the same thing. It's a system issue. And what Conte has come in and done is he's built a system where the players trust in it. They're picking up nice pockets of space. And he's using Harry Kane a lot more as well. He's trying to get the ball into Harry Kane, get Harry Kane to turn. But not only when he gets the ball into Harry Kane, it's not getting the ball into Harry Kane and giving him no options to pass forward. I mean, he's unleashing Son to go in behind, Lucas to go in behind, Regular, and Emerson over the far side. So when Harry Kane does turn, he has 4 passes available to him, and he's using his passes. When it comes to finishing, I mean, it's just going to happen. He will score, and he will end this season top scorer without a shadow of a doubt. Everyone needs to lay off Kane. I mean, let's start showing a guy a bit of respect. I mean, once he retires or once he leaves, everyone's going to absolutely miss him. And it's sad to say it, but it will take for Harry Kane to go to see for people to really see what he actually does. I mean, people talk about Levy, the lack of investment and everything else. And we talk about the shit players at the club, but then we want to make Harry Kane the problem. I mean, I just can't fathom it. I mean, this guy is genuinely one of 2 world-class players we have at the club, Son and Kane. Genuinely 2 world-class players that will walk into any top team in the Premier League or across Europe would walk into it. I mean, we weren't creating chances, weren't putting balls in the box. What do you want a striker to do? I mean, it's his bread and butter. You have to put chances on the plate for him to score. He's starting to get chances, and he will take them. Trust me, it's coming. He just needs that 1 or 2 to get a bit of confidence, and it's coming. And I mean, everyone can make a big song and dance out of Harry Kane. And it's factual. I don't make the facts. Sir Harry Edward Kane does. And he's sitting here today, as we speak, our club's top scorer. Now, you can discount all the Europa Conference League goals you want, but if he didn't come in and save our asses against Pacos, we wouldn't be in the group stage. And if he didn't score some of the goals in the group stage, we wouldn't even be in contention to get out of the group. So at the end of the day, as it stands across all competitions, he is our top scorer. and he is going to be finishing top scorer at the end of the season. Just bide a little time, have a bit of faith, have a bit of trust. At the end of the day, I get it. It hurts what he tried to do over the summer with the whole City thing, but you cannot doubt this man's love for the club. The goals will come, and like I already said, class is permanent, form is only temporary. Get off his back.
Man,
And
David,
on that note, people,
Yeah.
I will see you all later. Love to all the panel. Love to everyone in the chat. I am going to bed for 24 hours. See you all soon. Bob, I know you're in the chat. Love ya. And peace out.
The two Brians.
See you, man.
Good night,
the two
Brian.
Brians
Good luck,
is a one.
legend.
Is
Sweet
a one
dreams.
Brian. It's the two Brians is a one Brian. That's fine. We'll get through it. Harry Kane. Just to add to that, David, I walked in on that halfway through your tirade, which is a positive tirade because I completely agree. There's this idea, and I want to put this up from Sean Snow because I love Sean. Sean's a massive supporter of all of our channels. So you did answer this. So David, did I miss you answering it? Then what was that?
No. Can I answer this?
Oh yeah. Please, you go first. You go first. Please do.
I mean, this is a guy that bats for Ndombele to start every week, so I'm not taking the comment seriously. End of.
Okay, fair enough.
Wow.
That's yeah. Hey, you know what?
What's Ndombele done for the club compared to Harry Kane? So I'm not even entering a debate with Sean over it.
All right, that's fair enough. I just want to point out what he's specifically saying, and I don't think I completely disagree, but I also don't blame him. You know, like the club didn't show ambition hiring Nuno Espirito Santo as a manager. If they had have, when we were in the 74 days, but without having a proper manager, had gone in and gotten Conte at the end of that, Kane would have been okay, I'm in. But you go and you get a manager who was, finished the season prior with the team who had gotten sacked with Wolves. Yeah, he did okay. He did okay from the championship with a team that he had control over for a long period of time. But I mean, if you're Harry Kane, you're like, where's the ambition? I have ambition. I want to win some shit. Like, what makes you think you bringing in this manager in this situation when we're desperate to try to get back to where we were two seasons ago, when we were in the Champions League final, you expect me to like care about this or to be into it or to be happy? Of course he's going to change his position on it when you see Conte come in, because Conte's a winner. 5 out of his last 7 seasons, he's won the title with the team he's been with. That's fucking bonkers. So you just have to accept that, and you have to go, you know what? That's the reality of it. I would do the same thing if I was him as well. If I had been at that spot in my career where I was like, you know what? I've done everything for this club. It's a club I love, but I need to move on. I need to win some shit. And you guys don't really want to win some shit. You just say you want to win some shit. You just say you want to do stuff. And then you do the opposite, which is either bring in bad players or hire the wrong manager or fire the manager just before a fucking cup final or all these other bullshit that we've experienced as Spurs fans. So yeah, I completely get that idea of if he feels that way, it's for good reason.
But Brian, as well, just to add to that, you're talking a guy that's lost 2 Carabao Cup finals with Tottenham, 2 league title races. You're talking a Champions League final.
Are you being the devil's advocate right now, David? Is that what's going on here? Is that a devil's advocate?
No, I'm adding. He's lost the European Championship final, went to the World Cup semi-finals. I mean, it's obviously got on top of him. I mean, he's played in every competition known to man.
I think England in the summer is the thing that killed him the most.
Yeah.
And like losing that final against Italy is probably the thing more than even the Man City situation and getting a transfer. I think losing that final as England's captain probably has affected him more than anything else.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, he's been so disappointed. He's played in every competition known to mankind. I mean, and you're not even including the semi-finals of the Carabao Cups, FA Cups that we've also got to as well over the years. And you're just falling at the final hurdle every single stage. Yeah. I mean, of course he's going to question where he's at in the summer. I mean, Nuno's the manager. We're going into another season with Sissoko and Harry Winks before Sissoko was cleared out. I mean, of course he's going to question when you don't see the club going backwards. Conte also spoke on Hugo Lloris today and said Hugo Lloris can see we are working very hard to be able to turn this around. But makes me also think Hugo Lloris wouldn't sign a new contract, and now he might.
Yeah, 100%. I think he will, and I think he should, and I think we should offer that because there isn't another goalie available that's remotely as good as Hugo Lloris at the moment. It's just the nature of it. Yeah, he's got some things he's not great at. His distribution isn't great. We can all take the piss out of that, but his fucking shot stopping is arguably the best in the world when it comes to his shot stopping. There's not a lot of goalkeepers who have the reaction time that guy has. It's absurd. And he's saved us how many fucking times and how many games where he's made key saves, and you're just like, oh shit, he just did that. It's bonkers. So yeah, I hope they offer him that contract. I just, before we finish on Brentford, if you guys don't mind, I want to talk about substitutions quickly. I want to do this quickly. Obviously Harry Winks came on. Jack and David just spoke about Harry Winks for the last couple of hours. Harry Winks comes on and nearly fucking gives the game away on a couple of occasions with bad passing and bullshit. It was pretty hard to watch, and it was obvious, like, this is the problem with this guy. He's nowhere near what he needs to be, and it was the difference between the guy who was on the pitch to the guy who came on. It was obvious. And then of course Bergwijn gets an opportunity to come on and play a little bit as well. Didn't really see much from him. Also, there's some comments about Bergwijn playing a backup striker role and not Sonny doing it from Conte, which I was surprised by. What do you guys think about the subs that were made in our lack of depth, and what do we need to do to address that? I'll start with you, Jack. Is it? Yeah, it's a difficult situation, right? Like you could see the difference when you bring on those players, and you kind of go, oh shit, we're gonna lose the game now.
Well, it's a noticeable difference because those two players have single-handedly been a part of some of the most atrocious defeats that we've had this season, Steven Bergwijn included, when you think about it as well. In Steven Bergwijn's case, quickly, like, if we're going to expect him to somehow be a backup striker, it seems like a huge long shot, considering that the guy has barely been able to score more than 5 goals for us in period, and has had absolute sitters put in front of him, and somehow struggles to have the confidence to put it away. I mean, seriously, the guy wouldn't hit the ocean if he fell out of the boat. So him as a backup striker, I'm quite concerned, to be honest. I also sometimes question his pace, because sometimes we think that he is like a pacey guy, but it seems like he picks and chooses when to really show his speed or his versatility. I don't really believe in, really anything that Bergwijn is actually necessarily very good at. And also, I think he's a classic example of like a player that we spent a lot of money on that probably should have hit the ground running a lot sooner than he really has. So we probably should just cut our ties, cut the loss, and just send him on somewhere else. I heard those Ajax rumors are quite true. I'd say send him to Ajax, take someone from Ajax, or take someone else from PSV Eindhoven. But to go on to Harry Winks' case, I was actually, because I, was returning from a flight back from the West Coast. So I, turned off my phone, turned off, the do not disturb and everything, and tried to watch the match. And I didn't know what the score actually was going to be going into that match. And I was watching it last night, and I was joined by my missus for it, and she and I were watching it. And once Harry Winks came on, the only comment that she ever made actually, about the actual play going on was actually like, why is this guy giving so many balls away? Why is this guy sideways passing it so much? And she's someone, the whole time when I usually watch matches with her, we're talking about players' haircuts, we're talking about which players, look good on the pitch and whatnot, which players are handsome and things like that. And that was the first time that she and I were actually talking about the football match, where she genuinely was like, why is this guy giving sideways passes? Why is this guy like giving the ball away? And I think that's just a damning fact. Like, that's someone that came in, just to kind of hang out and just watch a match, was still like, Jesus, get this guy off the pitch. Like,
saw the flaws immediately, right? Like it
just shows like someone with a fresh perspective, like on the whole match itself, is just like, Jesus, like I can't take any more of this guy. And she's only seen about 20 minutes of him when you think about it, and she still was having enough of the guy. So I mean, Harry Winks, like, he's supposed to come into, I think Conte's idea is that he's supposed to come into the game to kind of bore the other team, like to kind of just recycle the ball, keep possession,
pass it sideways and backwards, which he's very good at.
Pass it sideways and backwards, which we all know he's supposed to be good at, and yet he barely could even do that at the end of the day. So, and he still had Skippy and Højbjerg for protection as well. I just don't know what he's really good at when you think about it. Like, that's what he was supposed to come in to do. He could barely do that. He looked like he was absolutely petrified when coming onto the pitch. And then in Steven Bergwijn's case, I think he probably came on a bit too late to, again, make much of a judgment of him. But again, if he's supposed to come in to be a backup striker, I think for the time being, that's what you have to probably go with. It kind of makes sense, that he would be the next person in line. But is that someone that I would put my money on for the rest of the season, be able to fill that role competently? Absolutely not. I'd probably rather just have any other player, to be honest, in world football instead of Steven Bergwijn as a backup striker, because at least I know that person would at least be able to hit the net. So with Harry Winks, like, I don't know. It was concerning. We already did a bit of expose on him, but it was concerning that he was
wanna
brought
say-
in
so-
to
sorry,
just
Jack, I just wanna-
neutralize the game, just to bore out the game, and he still couldn't even do that.
100%. Sorry to interrupt you, brother. I just want to quickly say, please go to the Irish Hotspurs channel and watch what the stream you guys did earlier. I was watching it, and Jack and David did a really fantastic breakdown on Winks and his issues and his time at Spurs and why he's such a difficult player. Yeah, and no, it was amazing. Like it was so detailed, and it just, you know, I used to like Winks, and I used to try to support him. He's like, oh, come on, he's one of our own, blah blah blah. But he's just shit, and that's what it comes down to. And he came onto this game and he just showed that. Adam, quickly, and we're going to move on to Norwich momentarily, but substitutions. Either of the players that came on and how little they affected the game, and the fact that they almost, to some extent, gave
nearly threw it away. Yeah,
it gave Brentford a moment where they might have even scored. Because I think there was a moment where Winks gives the ball away in the midfield, Brentford go on the attack and get one of the few opportunities they got in the game. You know, thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it's the same old story. Lack of depth. Like, need to buy players in January. No doubt about it. Like, just like, I mean, the problem is that the freaking egghead, if you know what I mean, literal egghead, like up top, realizes that, like, and actually wants to spend the peas in January to get the players. Like, because we cannot not keep bringing on like the likes of Winks and Bergwijn when I'm playing, and like, and especially if they're going to give the games away potentially, or even less, like give away a clean sheet. Like, we just don't want to see it anymore. Like. Or like, and also I knew, I freaking had that you know, like one time, Dave, we were talking about, I was on the fan show, you get that special gut feeling when you're a Tottenham fan. Yeah, I had that special gut feeling with Winks. Like, it's like after the Everton game or whatever game he was on, when he had that, you know that semi decent second half. I was like, there's no way he's going to keep this up. He's going to go right back to stinks level. Leeds, yeah, thank you. He's going to go right back down to stinks level. Lo and behold, what do I hear? And also, Stephen Bergwijn as a backup striker. Sorry, whoever came up with that. I just want to say,
Conte came up.
Conte, are you mad? Did he see that miss against Liverpool last season? Oh, I know that was last season, but come on, like, no, he's more of a right wing back than he is a freaking striker. Like,
I agree.
So I know I like Conte. Don't worry, I like Conte.
I just think,
but yeah, not a fan of that decision.
Clarky, if there's a manager who could do it, though, it is Conte, right? Like,
yeah,
like you know, like a month from now, mid fucking, you know, Harry Kane gets injured, he gets Bergwijn in there, and Bergwijn fucking, you know, gets 15 goals this season. You know,
I wouldn't complain.
I'm throwing it out there. I just if there's a manager who could do it, not likely, but all right. So let's get into the Norwich preview, because you know, we're an hour and change in here. We're going to max out at 2 hours tonight, not like last week, guys, with the 4.5 hour tirade that ended up happening. Sorry. So Norwich, we play Norwich under new management. Obviously, Dean Smith has been in there. They're unbeaten since he's come in. You know, unbeaten. I think it's what are they? 2 wins, 2 draws in the last 5, with one of them being a loss. Not looking necessarily good, but at least looking like they're competing in the Premier League. You know, they're putting themselves in a position where they're getting an opportunity to get points. Still, I mean, they're still kind of. I mean, not even kind of shit. They're going down. They're not a good team. The form, though, like, is it David? Is this something we should be worried about? Do we think that Norwich come to the lane and offer anything we should worry about?
No, I wouldn't be worried at all. The player that's kind of helped them up front, maybe going forward recently, Rashika. I mean, he's out injured. You have Todd Cantwell. He is back from injury. But, I mean, they have a couple of injuries. There's another guy there, Norman. He's out. He's been playing well for them this season. He's out. Look, honestly, we're talking about Norwich. They wear horrible yellow jerseys. We're going to be singing like canaries once we beat them. And we're going to go bird hunting on Sunday. That's for sure. Look.
Canary mining.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you know, look, people tell me I should respect these teams. I mean, they're sitting in one place above Newcastle. They're holding everybody up. I'm not going to respect them. They're absolutely crap. They're shit. They're naive. Every team rips them apart. There's no reason why a fully fit Tottenham Hotspur can't go and rip them apart on Sunday. I mean, you've got Harry Kane, who's ready to explode. He's got 5 goals in 3 career games against Norwich. Son as well. He's going to explode. We're just going to put them to the sword. That's it. Look, Dean Smith can come in and try and do what he wants with them. It doesn't matter. they're going down. They're up and down like a yo-yo at the minute. Look, Pookie, I think he's got 5 goals this season. He's their top scorer. I think it works out like 66% of their goals or something like that. So I mean, you keep Pookie quiet, you keep Norwich quiet.
And David, we saw what we did with Brentford and what's his nuts, Ivan Toney. He barely touched the ball. You know, if we do that against Pookie, he's not even remotely as close to as good as Ivan Toney is. So
one thing Pookie does do though, and I'll give him credit for it, he makes clever runs. And now sometimes I've watched him, he makes very clever runs, but the ball doesn't come.
Yeah.
But look, with Norwich, it's about, look, we keep Pookie quiet, we'll dominate and stamp our authority on the games. What I want to see is Reguilon pinning back Max Aarons. Keep him from running forward, keep him pinned back. The Norwich centre-backs get exposed week in, week out. They're absolutely useless. Deli did come in, the Irish guy from my beloved County Kildare. He came in, stepped it up for a while, but he's out injured. So he's out. So look, there's no reason why we shouldn't have them pinned back. Like I said, you keep Pookie quiet. It's about what we do then going forward. And I have no doubt we'll create the chances. It just comes down to us taking them. But with the confidence that's in the team right now, I can't see why we wouldn't take them.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be relatively easy. Adam, thoughts on Norwich and their form? Obviously, their form coming into this game is the best they've had all season. It took them a really long time to even get a point, but they under Dean Smith, despite Dean Smith being arguably a championship manager, which is why he's at a championship club who's gotten their way to the Premier League. Anything to worry about? Or are you convinced as David is?
No, I'm just as convinced, to be honest. I mean, and that's rich come for me. Like, as almost 90% of the times when I've come on stream this season, I said, yeah, we're going to steamroll these guys. We're going to win. We end up either losing or just playing badly or drawing. But no, I've almost full confidence we're going to beat these guys. It's I kind of no, I even pity Norwich, because they're they might as well be in the championship. I have no idea what they're doing in the Premier League still.
You know why they got in the Premier League? Because they had Oliver Skip. That's why they got into the Premier League.
Yes, literally the only reason.
It's the only reason why.
Well, they're not going to get back into the Premier League again, and because they're not getting them back. Oliver Skip might even steamroll his old teammates, make another bursting run through the middle of the park.
I am looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Skippy facing his team that he basically is the reason why they are playing against us in the first place. Jackie boy, thoughts on Norwich and their form? Should we be worried about that they've been playing better and haven't lost in 4 games?
I mean, a 1-1 draw to Newcastle when they had an early red card is quite concerning when you think about it. They probably should have done a whole lot more with that.
I was going to bring that up, but I figured you would. So
yeah, but my other thing is that I kind of have always, and David knows about this, I've kind of always had a bit of an agenda against Dean Smith. I've actually never really rated the guy. I kind of despise him.
He's a good championship manager, but I
just despised him because I kind of feel like there's a moment in time when we all, not we all, the Spurs fans, but just general football fans are kind of praising the guy. And I kind of thought he was always kind of underperforming with actually the squad that he had at his disposal. You think about when he was sacked, he wasn't playing the likes of Leon Bailey. He wasn't playing the likes of Buendia. He was going for a 5-3-2 formation because apparently he was more comfortable with that. When you really think about all the signings that they made to, kind of progress the team, he basically took Aston Villa to his ceiling, not even Villa's ceiling, to his ceiling, and then got kind of embarrassed for it. And so, to be honest, him going to Norwich, I feel like it's the right club for him at the moment. Will he keep them up? I feel like he was probably better shot at keeping them up than, the former manager Farka. But at the same time, I don't know. I just don't really rate the guy. He's already lost to us before at home when he was having a much better team at his disposal, a much better defense, much better fullbacks, just much better team, and he still lost to Nuno. I feel like, this is going to actually be quite an easy match for us. Timo Pukki is probably the only one I'm kind of worried about. Like David said, he makes great movement, has great finishing ability. Jeff Sargent, the American on the right. I mean, the guy couldn't hit the side of a barn door, let alone the ocean when he, has a goal in front of him. The guy actually has no finishing ability. I think they're actually quite an easy pushover. I feel like they'll get some points, when needed, but to be honest, maybe, they're undefeated under his tenure at the moment, but have they really been convincing wins? Even that Southampton win, if I remember watching the highlights for that one, like it was kind of a snatch and grab when you really think about that one as well.
Yep.
I think they had something like if I remember watching that game, like Southampton really dominated the ball as well, like really dominated the game. He's a guy that plays super pragmatic. He plays super kind of low block defensive kind of football, where previously Norwich were kind of playing more progressive football. It's just like it will be another team that will sit in a very low block, sit very defensively, and try to hit us on the counter. And so far this season, like especially under Nuno or under Conte, like teams have struggled to do that against us. Even under Nuno, teams kind of struggled to do that against us. Like West Ham struggled against us when they were sitting in a low block. So I don't know. I feel like it's actually set up for us to win. And I don't rate Dean Smith at all. And I don't really rate their squad at all. Sorry to all Norwich fans.
No, I mean, don't apologize. I think you're spot on there. I think that's 100% true. I think the something that is interesting to me is rotation. You know, we're about to go into, well, we are in a busy December. You know, we had a midweek game, and the thick and fast cliche is going to happen. We're going to play a lot of football. I'll stick with you, Jack, on this, and then we'll go back around the horn the other way. Do you see rotation in our squad? Do you think we're going to see, the likes of Tanguy and Ndombele maybe coming in? Maybe Doherty gets a shot at right wing back against Norwich. I mean, Norwich are essentially like, it's almost like playing in the Conference League, right? Like you're playing a lower level team who's at the bottom of the league, and it's at home. So, and of course, we need to make sure that the players are fit. If we don't play that first 11 that we have, like the first 11 we hit that Conte has consistently gone with, other than Romero getting injured, that is his 11. He knows what his 11 is. He knows the best players. If they get injured, he needs to know that there's a player in those positions to rely on. Does he going to check that in this type of game? Do you see a potential rotation? I think we might, but I'm curious if I'm right or wrong.
I'd like to see him maybe give a rest to someone in the back three, to be honest. I feel like this is horrible to say. Dyer is a bit of a glue.
He's immense. He's been immense this season.
He's kind of a
weird
glue
to
in
say.
That back three.
Moon boots is weird to say.
You might have to keep him in there. You probably might go for Tanganga instead of Sanchez. I feel like if anybody that wasn't so convincing in the Brentford game, you probably go for Tanganga instead of Sanchez for this one. Do you risk putting Doherty in? I feel like you don't for this one. Maybe you do against Rennes, but that Rennes game is really, really important still. I think you still go with, Emerson out there and maybe just throw Doherty in. If we're up by enough, you kind of have to squad manage if we're up by, enough goals. But up front, it's really hard because Tanguy, he couldn't do anything against a, half-assed, Slovenian side, when you think about it. And you maybe go for that 4-3 or 3-4-1-2 or that 3-5-2, and maybe you give Tanguy the license to go forward and help out Sonny and Kane. But I feel like you have to stick with what works so far, and we're just going to have to wait till we get more points, kind of realize that we have kind of points to be gained here, and just kind of stick with the players' fitness right now, stick with the confidence right now, don't make too many changes. And maybe if we're up by 1 or 2 goals by, let's say, the 60th minute, you just make lots of rotations and hope that they just don't fuck it up. So genuinely, I think you just stick with the same lineup, maybe go for Tanganga instead of Sanchez, and then maybe put in subs like a Tanguy for a Lucas, and
give him 20 minutes and see what.
And maybe even take off, someone like a Sonny or a Kane, and just see if Bergwijn can do anything. And then probably put in, if we're up by enough goals, take out an Emerson and rest him, and put in a Doherty, or likewise take out a Reguilón and maybe put in a Sessegnon, but I think it's just more squad management. It's not changing up the 11. It's just more squad management, not letting them get too tired, because that Rennes game is still, unfortunately, extremely important. Yeah,
I agree. Jack, I think it's spot on there. And I think that's going to be the key and I think actually Conte did that really well in the Brentford game. He brought in Winks when I think he recognized that
it made sense to actually bring.
Despite Winks being crap, it was still the right thing to do. And bringing Bergwijn for Lucas, it's the right thing to do. It's like, you're giving an opportunity to play this position. This is where I know where you're supposed to be good. Show me what you can do. We're 2 goals up. Here's your opportunity.
Right.
And so he has that. He's in that situation. I'm curious because we've seen this with managers do this often. When you get into December, they start to just go, they start to throw things around. I'm curious if he'll just keep it straight. I hope he does, but I hope we stay fit, because it's a risk. you do that, you're risking, some of your best players, the players you're relying on, if they get it, if Højbjerg gets injured, if Skip gets injured, if Kane gets injured, if you know what I mean, like it is that difficult of a situation we're in. Adam, thoughts on the rotation of the squad? Do you see us rotating? Do you think that's going to happen?
Well, like I can see a possibility. I don't know whether it's going to happen or not. Like yourself, and I hope it doesn't. But actually, if it does happen, it's a good point that Jack made there. Like, if there's one player I want to see rotated, like, and brought into the squad, it's Tanganga. Because since Conte's come in, I don't think he's gotten a real chance to show, or the immense skill I think he has. I might this might blow up in my face in the long run, but I think he has the potential to be one of the best defenders in the league eventually. Not now, eventually.
Yep.
Eventually. Yep. So I'm officially changing my hashtag from hashtag time for Rodon to hashtag time for Tanganga. So I have to change it up at some stage.
Yeah, no, it's a good shout. It's interesting because there's some great quotes from Conte about specifically identifying each player's position. Like, what position should you play in based on your skill set? And that's how he looks at players. So, for instance, for Rodon, he sees Rodon as a backup for Dyer. Dyer gets injured, Rodon goes into that middle. That's how he sees it. So he's literally taking these players and determining which one goes into what position if the other player isn't available. And that, I love that, because it's really specific, and he's understanding their skill sets and what they bring to the table. And I think that's what a good manager is going to do. Now, do we have the quality is Rodon going to fill in for Dyer? Dyer's been good this season. Is Rodon good enough to fill in for Dyer? Maybe, but they have similar attributes. Dyer's very vocal. Dyer, he's physical. He's big. He gets in the box. He controls things. Rodon has the potential for that. Nobody knows if it's going to happen, because none of us have seen him actually fucking play. So but identifying those things and determining whether or not they're good enough to play in those positions is his job currently. What Conte is doing. Went on a bit of a rant there, but David, your thoughts on rotation in the squad, and what do you expect to see at Norwich?
I think if he was going to do a rotation, the one rotation I see him doing is maybe Højbjerg for Winks, and that's just purely to have Højbjerg 100% ready for Thursday night.
Fitness,
to be that general and linchpin in midfield, because you will get away with not having Højbjerg in this game and still win the game. You really should. You have Holly skipping there. I think that might be the only change if we see one. And I don't want it to be the change. Me personally, I wouldn't change anyone across the back line. I'd be surprised to see a change with Dyer, Davies and Sanchez. I mean, look, Sanchez was a bit rickety yesterday. I mean, it looked like if they were going to score, it was going to come off him. But at the end of the day, they kept a clean sheet. So if he takes one of them out, what sort of message does it send? I think he'll need to keep that, just to kind of give them a bit of confidence going forward. With Reguilon and Emerson, I see both playing, to be honest with you. And do you know what? Surprisingly enough, I know this is probably skipping ahead, but I actually think you might see Harry Kane on the bench against Rennes and Bergwijn start up front with Harry Kane coming on if we need him.
I think I think he should do that. David,
realistic answers.
There's like a think that's going to happen. I mean, I don't actually think it'll happen, but I think that would be good if it did.
I just think the reason why he said it, Brian. I just think the reason why he said it is because he's already preempting what's going to happen.
Oh, maybe that's
we're not in a meltdown when it happens. Because Harry Kane does need a rest. Let's be honest. We do. He does need a rest.
He's not even getting subbed off at in the 60th, 70th minute when we're up 2-0 and it's comfortable. He plays in 90 minutes. That's like David, the 100% says everything about it, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, do you know what? I think the reason why Conte keeps him on right now is just in the hope he will get that goal. But I think once he starts scoring goals, you might actually see him come off a little bit earlier then. That's just my belief in it. But look, in terms of players going forward, I don't think you'll see any changes against Norwich either. I'll be very surprised if he rotates. Right now, we need points on the board. We know our best 11 players to be able to go and do it. Roll them out there again. Get the points on the board, because with Rennes, he might not even need to make changes either, because Brentford, Norwich and Rennes, it's all at home. You're taking away the extra travel, taking away the hotel stays, being away from family and everything else. So there shouldn't be leggy or tired that way. But with Rangers might also rest a hell of a lot of players, knowing that they're already out of the group.
Yeah, they don't even care, right? They might have a better, bigger game in
Yeah.
the league, right? Yeah,
They
yeah.
don't even need a result. They don't even need a result. You know, they're already out of the group. So, I mean, I'd be very surprised if Conte makes changes coming into the Norwich game. But like I said, the only one I think you might see, and it kills me to say this, is Højbjerg for Winks, just to rest Højbjerg. But the only let me as well, just the only reason why Winks is coming in is because he's not as lazy as Ndombele and Dele Alli. That's the only reason why. It's not because he's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good shout. The Tanguy situation for me is crazy because we know that Conte wanted to bring him into Inter at one point and, you know, identified him as a player that he wanted to probably just from a quality perspective and a style of play. But it's getting that guy motivated to play a certain way and getting him to focus on it and do it just seems to be a massive struggle for every manager. Every manager that has managed him at Spurs has struggled to get him to play the way they wanted him to play. I think he should be sold in January. I don't think it'll happen, but I think he should be sold in January if we're going to get any value for the player. Sell him to somebody in France where he'll go back to doing what he did at Lyon. He was at Lyon, right?
Bridges.
Yeah. So. Difficult situation. On the Norwich situation, Timo Pukki probably the one player that we should worry about, but not really. I think the thing that I want to talk about a little bit before we end the Norwich preview, the crowd. What did you guys think of the crowd in the Brentford game and how much it's affecting the team? To me, I really like it was louder than it had been in a long time. Purely because of the quality of effort that the players put in. And you could see it when a player went in for a tackle, when Skippy went into a bit more aggressive and we won the ball higher up the pitch and we ended up getting chances. The crowd just got like fucking,
yeah.
It was like moving, right? It was like, fuck that. We haven't really had a long sustainable period where the new stadium has been effective for us as a fortress with the noise. It's there. It's built into it. That's the point. That's what Levy did. One of the things he's done well, when it comes to what the stadium is supposed to do. Not just in this game, but just generally speaking. I'll start with you, Jack. What are your thoughts on what you heard at the Brentford game and how much that can affect our form at home in the future? And can we get back? You remember that the unbeaten record in 2016, 2017 at the Lane? I mean, if we can get back to that quality of performance and be unbeaten at our home. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, to be honest, the new stadium, as much as we probably didn't ask for it at the end of the day, like it does echo a lot more than any other stadium, and you do actually.
The acoustics are incredible.
The acoustics are incredible.
Dude, as an audio guy, I'm just like,
saying.
I'm like, wow, that's fucking.
You can hear every word they're chanting, every word they're saying, and genuinely, when you think about it as well, like Spurs fans have been severely deprived this season of good football and good hard-working football. So what I was noticing most was just any bit of effort, any tackle won in the midfield, any sort of run made by Region, you would just see the entire stands in unison absolutely applauding their team. And it's just because they've been deprived this whole season of any sort of decent football. So if we see the hardworking football, if we see kind of the effort, the pressing, the beautiful kind of attacking play that we saw against Brentford, if we see that against Norwich, I feel like it's just going to be bye to them, because seriously, like I think it made it very hard for Brentford to get back into the game with how loud that crowd was, with how much they were supporting the team. And also because, the standards of football that we're used to at the moment is actually quite low. And so anything that, our team does that's remotely decent, we seem to really get really hyped up for, which is honestly brilliant to see. But maybe a good comparison would be kind of like, if you've ever watched, especially last season, kind of the hard work and effort that was at Ellen Road, for Leeds United, even though that is not as much of kind of an acoustic kind of stadium, just the effort and the displays that we saw from them at home made it really difficult for other teams to come against them, because those guys were just running nonstop. Those guys were just running absolutely relentlessly. And we saw a version of that, for us against Brentford. We saw a version of that for us against Leeds at home as well. So I feel like if we keep up the effort, if we keep up the pressing, if we keep up the distance covered, if we keep up basically the hard work and the mentality that we've seen so far this season, we're going to hear a very, very, very loud Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And that's going to make it especially difficult for a team like Norwich, who will sit back, will sit deep, and be without the ball for long, extended periods of time. And if they're hearing a crowd like that behind them, I mean, best of luck to them.
It's nerve wracking. It's, it's the obvious cliche is it's the 12th man.
Right.
I think when you have a stadium like we do, and if it can become as useful as say Anfield is for Liverpool, because it really Anfield is, when it is lively in a moment, it becomes difficult to play because they're so in it and they're so close to the pitch and it's loud and it's you get if in opposition at Anfield in those scenarios, it gets quite difficult. I think we have more of an opportunity at the new stadium to do that even more so. Anfield is not acoustically remotely close to what we have at the new lane. So I think it's a massive thing. Adam, your thoughts on the stadium and potentially what we can do with the crowd and just I think just egging on this team and of course, just to add to that, Conte, this is a thing that Conte does. He gets the crowd. We saw him do that's what he's looking around going, come on guys, like we can use that.
Love to see that, I mean, like, you name me another manager in the world football that does that, I mean, he's just so in tune with the fans, he knows what it means anyway. So he was a football player himself, so he knows how important it is that the fans are on his side, and it's common sense as well. I mean, if you play good football, you're going to get a good reception from the fans. You're going to have the fans on your side and cheering you on throughout the whole game. The better the football is, the better that'll get. And as soon as these players, get this inside their heads, I think that'll be a major thing. At least, in terms of mentality, they're going to go into these games saying, right, so we want the fans on our side. Yeah, fine. Let's go out and show them, what it means to play for this club. Let's show them, that we're up for this. And let's try our best. Because that's not what we were doing at the start of the season anyway, isn't it? Yeah. So that's, I mean, and also our stadium. Look at our fans, and also our fans. Our fans are the best in the world. We could be in I don't know, Elland Road, and we'd still, it'll rock that place. It's up
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. David, thoughts on the stadium and how to make use of it? Conte's obviously understanding of the value of it and how he puts that into the game day and make sure that the fans are part of the game. What do you think about that?
Yeah, just kind of echo what Adam says. I mean, you get good, you get good performances, you get a raucous crowd. You know what I mean? It's that simple. You get a crowd that's loud and proud to see behind you. You put shit performances. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're an entertainer.
It can go the other way, right, David?
Really? Yeah, it can be absolutely quiet. I mean, it can
get poisonous for sure.
The thing is, what needs to happen, and it does get poisonous, and it's just I mean, they can sit there and cry and complain about the crowd sometimes all they want, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to get them out of their seats. They're paying to come and see you.
Yeah, you earn the crowd as a player, as a team. Yeah. You earn the crowd. The crowd will be as good as you are if you're putting the effort in. Even if you lose, even if you don't, you don't get lucky or things. If you put the effort in, the crowd will support you. And that's what it comes down to. If you're half-assing it, if you're Dele Alli in it all the time and fucking barely putting any effort in, then of course the crowd's going to be going to boo at halftime, which we saw in the Leeds game, and of course there was a change after that. But I interrupted.
No, you're fine. And the thing is, what needs to happen is you need someone like a Conte, like Klopp done at Liverpool. Because when Klopp came in, Liverpool were going through a bad stage. Their crowd weren't as loud, and what he did do is during games, even I remember at one stage against the West Brom game, I think they drew at West Brom, and he was over there after the game giving it this to the crowd like he always does. And what ultimately doing that in the early stages done is that what it ended up doing is pulling the whole club together, fans, owners, players, and manager, and all pushed in one direction. And that's where a lot of the crowd and the noises come from, or especially over the last few years since Klopp has been here. Yes, obviously trophies help. But the thing is, what Klopp done is at a time when the stadium and the fans were flat, no matter who was at the club, he got the fans behind the team. And then what was happening then is the fans singing them songs loud and proud, cheering on the boys. And especially when Tottenham or when Liverpool were in the mire, they got behind them extra loud. And that was all a result because of what Klopp done earlier. Then what that done is started bringing the confidence into players, egging on the players, spurring them on. And then what happened then is that also then before the players go out, they want to impress the crowd because of what they've done for them. So ultimately what ends up doing is bringing everybody together and everybody in the one direction on a winning way. So hopefully Conte can do the same. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love seeing a manager turn around, getting the crowd involved.
Oh fuck!
You know, I mean, it's honestly, it's better
It
than
gets me
watching
buzzing,
football.
mate. It gets me buzzing. I'm just like, as soon as he did that, I was just like, yes.
Oh,
Like,
stop! I felt like
love
head
it.
on my screen. Honestly, I was going berserk. It was unbelievable. You know, and then you see the crowd responding. I mean, honestly, Conte, if you're ever out there listening, just bring me in. I'll sit there conducting the choir. We'll get Adam on the drum, Jack on the vocals, you know, Brian Ireland on making sure we have all the equipment set up, and then coming in on the DJ decks. I mean, we can definitely get the crowd going. But no, in all seriousness, the crowd has a massive part to play, especially in tight games. You see that Leeds game, it was tight. Conte got the crowd behind him. We saw the game out. It all starts with little things like that.
Yeah.
Once we get that crowd going, I mean, we'll probably end up causing a bit of an earthquake or register on the Richter scale, because it is going to be so, so loud. And what I do want to say is that I've been to the Old White Hart Lane plenty of times, and I mean, that place used to be absolutely
Incredible.
bouncing for such a small stadium. I mean, the noise generated. You even listen to the away fans when you're watching the games on TV. You hear them for nearly the full 90 minutes singing. Put that into the home stadium with a team playing well and the manager doing a good job. I mean, honestly, going to have the best atmosphere in all of European football.
100%, David. That is absolutely spot on. And you know, that the opportunity is there, and I'm looking forward to it. We are an hour and a half in now, and it is now time for a new segment that we just introduced on our last stream, and it's called "Who Are Ya?" And so I'm going to intro this moment. Who are you? So this is a new segment we've introduced. Whenever we get guests on now, who, especially folks like yourself who have their own channels, and I say channels because you guys obviously have channels, multiple channels, and obviously doing really cool shit. We want to talk to David and Jack about the stuff you guys are doing on YouTube, and you know what you see your future as, and you know, just how much fun it is, and just sort of just talk about being on YouTube, because it's fucking fun. Like, I love this shit. This is great, you know. And you know, Jack, Jack was part of our previous channel, and we had a moment with him that was incredibly meaningful. Love the guy, fantastic. And of course, David, you're sort of the first wave of post We Are Tottenham TV. You know, like you've got what you guys have done and what you continue to do is incredible, and we love what you guys do. So I'll start with you, David. Sorry, your YouTube journey.
Worse, Brian. I've been called worse.
Yeah, your YouTube journey and where you guys are at with the channel. And I just want to say, like, just based on what I keep watching you guys, because I keep watching you guys, the quality of the content is continuously improves. You guys, the work you're doing, the research, the you know, you're putting the effort in to make the content better than it was yesterday, which is what you want to do. But tell me where you're at with your channel and what you guys see going forward, and all of those things. Give yourself a little bit of love.
Well, first of all, I have to say it's very nice to hear so many positive things, you know, said about the channel and the work that me and Jack do put in. And look, I'll be honest with you, Brian. It's nothing special that we do compared to any other Tottenham YouTube channel out there. I mean, look, we all know the hours it takes to go and do the research, put it into a show, then put it in order so the show flows and everything else. Then you're talking about graphics and all that other stuff. I mean, we all know exactly what it takes, you know. So look, what me and Jack do is absolutely nothing special, but what we always try to do is just keep improving. I mean, look, I'll be honest, I hold my hands up. Where we do lack is maybe the tech side of things. I think that's our downfall, I think. But look,
David, you know that's what I do for a living. Just if you any questions or concerns, just message me, mate. I'll help you out.
No, look, you know what it is, Brian? What we need is someone that can just, you know, just as soon as we ask for something that
you want a producer, so you want to hire a producer who's going to do it for you in the moment, so you don't actually.
What you need, you need your own studio, with the control room and like the special mics and the cameras and all that stuff. Like you'll be like 10,000 subscribers like before midnight.
I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you there. No, look, all we are, I'll be honest with you, we're nothing special. I mean, I've heard some people say, oh, Dave, you're a legend, and Jack, you're a legend, this, that, and other. We're not legends. We're just normal, passionate Spurs fans like everybody else out there.
David, shut up. I'm stopping you right there. You're a fucking legend. You're a legend in the Spurs community.
Absolutely,
You are, mate. Just fucking accept it.
No, we're not. No, look.
Hear me out.
You're too humble, Dave.
Yeah, but here's why you're a legend. When this community started post We Are Tottenham TV and during the pandemic, and you were one of the first people. You came on to my other podcast or my other channel, The North End, and then we've had you on our other channel, Tottenham Away, and you always said that my goal is to just become the biggest YouTube channel as much as I can for Spurs, and I'm going to keep doing it. And you've just consistently over and over and over again done the things you've said you're going to do, and you've been really, really honest, and you've been really supportive of everybody else doing the things they're doing. You got, like, on our previous channel, you increased our numbers. On this channel, you've increased our numbers just because you're fucking a good dude and you do good shit. And of course, you stole Jack from us, which I completely understand.
I do apologize, but I think we'll all agree since Jack has come in, what it has done, it's probably elevated the channel even further, because look, I'll be honest with you.
David, no shit. That's why he was on our channel.
Look, the thing is, when it comes to Jack, right? Look, with me, I'm a bit of a dum-dum. I'm not the most intelligent. I mean, I barely passed my leaving cert. Now, I have great ideas.
Too hard on yourself there, buddy.
The best ideas out there. But what Jack does is he takes it from all my rambling in on the Google documents and turns it into something a bit more professional. And yeah, look, do you know what it is, Brian? I'm actually so grateful how well I've been received. I mean, look, this is me being truthful now. I mean, look, I'm a big guy. I'm a heavy guy. I mean, I grew up when I'm super fit. I used to have a six-pack, you know what I mean, and everything else. And like, I used to hate being in pictures. I used to hate coming on camera. I used to hate being in videos. And then once I went on to We Are Tottenham TV and got positively received, I mean, I just said, like, well, why can't I do my own channel? I mean, I just want to say to everybody out there, I've been absolutely grateful and taken aback with how well I've been received, how much people have supported, and I mean unwavering support. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. It's like we almost have a full army behind us. It's absolutely madness. And I, just from the bottom of my heart, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody for it, because, I mean, let's be honest, we can put all the shows out there. They're nothing without the fans. You know what I mean? And the fact that they keep getting behind us. I mean, even you've seen it, Brian Ireland, from the other channel to this channel, and how you're well able to grow this channel again. I mean, the fans out there are so important to everything that me and Jack do. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And I mean, all we try to do is just try our best every single day, be better than the day before, and just see how we go. I mean, in terms of saying what I do, I mean, I always try. Sometimes I fail. But I mean, sometimes you just have to aim high. You know what I mean? And I'll always die trying to aim high. And this is what
David,
it's terribly.
The best thing about you, David, is your honesty and your passion. You're straightforward. You're straight up. You don't fuck around, and you care about what you're saying. And it comes through every time. It isn't even like questionable. It's what makes you who you are. It's what makes you good at what you do. You know, you said something earlier about you not being like the smartest guy in the world. I think that's bullshit. I mean, that's you being humble. That's fair, but it's humble. You're really good at what you do. You've improved over and over again all the time. That's what you do, and it's impressive, mate. And I'm happy to be inspired by you and to have you on the channel. This is what this segment's about, by the way. And who are you? And I'm going to go to Jack, FlatcapEurotalk right now. I wore, just so you know, Jack and David, I wore this for you guys tonight.
I noticed. I want to ask you where you got it after the show.
Well, you can ask me now. There's a hat shop in Toronto that I bought it at,
local, nice.
Yeah, it's a great hat. It's a great hat. I have a few of these. I am a flat cap
connoisseur
fan. I'm a massive one. And this it wasn't cheap. This hat, it's pretty dope. But I want to ask you, Jack, because Jack, you arguably, and you know, to some extent, started with us.
Yeah.
When it came to being like on a channel. full time. You obviously you did your We Are Tottenham TV bits, and you went on as a guest in other parts, but to be a contributor, we did Jack Knows What on Tottenham Way, which is arguably still one of my favorite bits. And what you did an amazing job for us. You did a really good job, and I think this is what David recognized you about you as well, is your understanding of the game and of statistics and of data and how important it can be and how much fun it is to talk about, because it does affect different things, and you're really good at it. You have a really good sense of it. And a little bit of Flat Cap Euro Talk, please. Anyway, so first of all, the banner that's there right now is for the Irish Hotspur. This banner right here now is Flat Cap Euro Talk. So please like and subscribe. Go to these channels. Both of them are fucking ridiculous. And of course, you probably know these things already, but we want to share it. It's also in the description of this stream. Please like and subscribe. Go do the things. But Jack, Flat Cup Euro Talk, tell us a little bit about it. Where is it going to go? What is it about? Give people a bit of an idea.
I think I would just quickly say, and I think what David, especially was trying to say is we're trying to constantly improve, and like we are to a degree sometimes our own harshest critics, as you definitely saw from David. He definitely is his own harshest critic at the end of the day. And I feel like maybe the reason why we came up with the second channel, Flat Cap Euro Talk, is actually because we're trying to do almost daily shows when there is available content on the Irish Hotspur. In fact, just recently, we did that Harry Winks show, and we did that Deli Alley show. It's kind of a series that we're going to be doing. We're trying to come up with a bunch of new stuff. Some people have even seen some of the show ideas that David has especially come up with, and it's honestly about the length of a Bible when you look at it. But what we kind of realized is that what I enjoy, and just generally, is just I can't get enough of watching football, and especially teams outside of Spurs. And so we're kind of thinking as how do we get that into the Irish Hotspur community? And so I've been entrusted with kind of running basically our second channel, basically our sister channel, being Flat Cap Euro Talk. And over there, it more or less is kind of a way where you can kind of get a bit of solace and a bit of kind of therapy with like all the things like how do you fix Spurs, like how do you go
transfer
about
rumors,
transfer rumors, just like which player would fix Spurs, which player would come over and fix Spurs. I've done everything from the scout reports, which is basically just nice old kind of like stats and highlight reactions, to also doing kind of live streams where I've done it especially with someone who I worship over at Paxton Road, someone who I think has a very similar mind to me, if not a way better mind than me, and that's being Darius from Paxton Road over there.
Shout out to those guys too. Those guys
I
are
absolutely
amazing.
worship Darius. I absolutely worship
really good
Darius,
stuff.
and he and I have done some kind of content over there about kind of just like how do you fix Spurs, how do you go about maybe making the team a much better team. And also times before maybe this supposed new budget that we have, it was even being realistic, where it was like, how do you fix Spurs under a Levy budget? How do you like fix the team with under 30 million pounds to work with, and things like that? And these are kind of the tough problems that I especially enjoy. These are the tough problems that I kind of like talking about. And also as well, sometimes, we just want to take our minds off of things and just watch a bit of, like a Der Klassiker, an El Clasico, or, a bit of Champions League, and just kind of hang out and talk. And it's just basically that channel. It's basically an extension of the Irish Hotspur. David's on it all the time, but he's, been very, very faithful in me to entrust it and running, things over there. So if you want to take your mind off of Spurs, or even keep your mind on Spurs, but basically just try to fix Spurs, I would say
dream, Jackie boy, dream of what we could potentially be.
It's a good place to dream. It's the channel to dream. It's the channel to dream. Like you said,
channel of dreams.
Yeah,
there we go.
But it is a place to dream. It is a place to try to fix Spurs. And also, like, if you really enjoy kind of transfers, if you really enjoy kind of talking about what type of players, maybe could best come into the Spurs side and hit the ground running and fix our team, it's basically your home. It's your Bible. Because as much as it's nice to kind of talk about, oh, Spurs are interested in X player, Spurs are interested in X player, it's also nice to talk about why that player that we're interested in could actually be the right fit for Spurs. And basically that's why that channel is there. But also, like I said, Dave and I, we're trying to constantly improve. We're trying to constantly come up with new content, trying to constantly improve the content that we're already doing. And it really is just, it's been a blast so far. Hopefully we continue to ride. It could all come crashing down at a certain stage, but we're definitely going to try to continue to ride it and continue to improve. We're just going to continue to improve. And the reason, a good example of us continuing to improve, is our second channel at Flat Cap Euro Talk.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I'm wearing the hat. If you, Jackie, if you want to invite me on, I would love to come on your channel.
Especially since
I
you do
will
the North End podcast. When I do especially a Premier League, kind of thing, I know I'll have you. I know I'll have you.
100%. I'd be an honor to be on your channel. Of course, obviously it goes to you as well, David. I'm less available than Brian Daigle, unfortunately, because I do a lot of other things. But it'd be a pleasure, and it really is a pleasure to have you guys on. Thanks for being here, and of course. Oh man, look, I want to do it again. It's hard to end the show. It's like you could just sit here and chat Spurs forever. But I do know that everybody's got a life, and you guys have been streaming for about 5-6 hours now, probably, including this stream. So
David can do the 10-hour ones at moments. He'll do the pre-pump up to
David's a machine. I don't even know how he functions in his life, but he does somehow. David, thank you, brother. Really, thank you for coming on, and appreciate your insight and appreciate everything you've done for our channel and what you've done for the Spurs community. Brilliant to have you here.
I just want to say, look, it's been a massive pleasure having myself and Jack today. I really, really have enjoyed it. And Adam, it's great to see you on here. I think you're absolutely brilliant. Keep up the good work that you're doing, my man.
Yeah, thanks.
Brian Erling, keep doing what you're doing. Daigle, obviously, the guy's absolutely everywhere.
Legend.
You couldn't meet three nicer guys. Everybody, please spread the word of Tottenham on Tour. The mental health streaming that they want to try and achieve and everything else. It's absolutely phenomenal. So please, if you are new, make sure you do smash that subscribe button and spread this channel far and wide.
Thanks, David. Yeah, and we in regards to the mental health, we're going to be doing a big show, sort of a new version of what we did on the May the 4th on the previous channel in January. So look for that, and it's going to be intense, and in a good way. Having a conversation that people struggle to have a conversation about. We're looking forward to that. And I just want to quickly before I thank Jack, I want to thank Adam. Adam Clark is a new member of Tottenham on Tour. He
Happy
is
to be so.
Yeah, and he's going through some shit with school and getting to himself to a point where he's going to be able to do this kind of thing full time. And I'm lucky as hell to have him on the team and to do the things that we need for our channel and for other things I'm doing. So cheers, Adam. I appreciate you, Jackie boy. Of course.
Thanks for having me,
my guy. Fantastic. Thanks for being on the channel. You've gone from where we first had you on as a member of Tottenham Way to crushing it with David, and appreciate what you've done. And so thanks for being here.
Appreciate you very much. Appreciate it. And honestly, it is kind of nice to reflect on it all. But like I said, and like David said before, you definitely have to subscribe over here, and definitely just stay over here, because honestly, this is very heartwarming kind of end of the show. But it is a bit sad to end it on this, but. Also
it's not sad. It's not sad. This is who are you is the point. It's the point of this community that we have and the people that we've met. We never met in person, but I feel like I know you guys really well. Yeah. The point of asking who are you is to show people who you guys are, what you guys are doing, what we're doing, how this whole community works, and it's glorious. It's fantastic.
And also, I will say, just because I did it at the beginning of the show, everybody, believe me, the link is there for Bob's GoFundMe to help him, deal with all the costs of all of what he's going through. I couldn't imagine it.
He's saying in chat they hit the 2K.
Holy shit! Because I was just going to say, everybody, it's that easy. I did it during the show, even.
Fantastic.
I looked down for 30 seconds and I could contribute. So that's insane. So Bob,
that's great. I mean, that's
ridiculous. I didn't even look. So the fact that he's already hit it is insane. Yeah. So
incredible. And Bob, and just unbelievable. Yeah, and Bobby has been a huge part of this community, and he, we've said from the beginning of the show, and we'll always say, he's added so much and has added so much, and he's a good dude. And if you can help him, and if you can help his family, please do so. Big up, Bob. Love you, buddy. And I think we'll end it on that. I think that's a good spot to end it. Thank you guys again for being here. We'll be back with our podcast next week. We've got a bunch of guests coming up. We've got a bunch of new shows coming up. We've got the mental health show in January. Lots going on. I mean, it's hard to even talk about it because there's just so much going on. I'm trying to keep up with the Irish Hotspur channel, and I'm like, fucking hell, how do these guys do this shit?
Yeah.
But But it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And of course, now I have Adam Clark to help me do it. So that's gonna help.
That's the trick. That's the key, man.
Yeah, you gotta hire the
He's the
intern.
young-
Get in the interns,
the
man.
young
Get in the
hearts.
interns.
The interns, yeah.
The interns, exactly, just like me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks guys again for being here, and thanks for everybody in the comments. I didn't get to put up every comment I would have liked to every person that was there. Everybody that's been there and that's supported this channel, that supports David and Jack's channels, and of course Adam in this channel. It's just there's not a heck of a lot you can say other than thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
Like
big up to all of you.
it's just so dope that we get to do this and have so much fun. So looking forward to seeing you again, and we'll be back soon. Cheers. Have a good one.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you
Of course,
Spurs.
I would trust.
Who's gonna sign out for dinner?
Tottenham On Tour. Tottenham On Tour. Tottenham On Tour.